Yeah. The today's agenda is that you are going to learn about the skills that are required for a network engineer and a desktop engineer and then endpoint security engineer. These are some of the three important job roles that will be there as part of information security, cyber security. But the thing is, most of you will not be aware, or we may overlook these kind of jobs. These are the jobs which are very important in any kind of IT organization. And even now in the recent time also, we do have the opportunities for these kind of jobs. Normally, this training will take 1 month of time, but we are creating a workshop as part of HackerBook 5-year anniversary. This workshop is free of cost for you, and you may get a question like, okay, will it be useful to crack a job? Yes, of course. By attending the session today and tomorrow, you'll be able to crack the job by yourself. That all those things I'm going to explain you. And the agenda for today's session is just 5 minutes, 5 to 10 minutes. We'll talk about the HackerBook institution. Then what are the different trainings we provide and how many jobs we get on an average. Then after that, we'll see the role of a network engineer, desktop engineer, and then endpoint security engineer within the IT ecosystem. Because when you talk about a software engineer, most of the jobs you think that it will be only in the development or testing or any kind of backend related data. There are few jobs even in IT security. What are their roles and responsibilities? What kind of tools they work? All those things we'll discuss. Role of a network engineer, information security. Then what kind of challenges will be there as part of a network engineer? You need to understand about IT ecosystem if you want to understand about the role of a network engineer. Like routers, switches, devices, Wi-Fi routers, mobiles, then web servers, load balancers, firewalls. Lot of devices will be there. We'll go through that slowly. And then information security roles. Desktop engineer or a network engineer is is not a role where your skills are restricted to that level. After network engineer, after desktop engineer, you can get into the ethical hacker, SOC analyst, security manager, security director, and CISO. CISO is the top level job. All those things we'll discuss here as part of the roles. After that, maybe after 30 or 40 minutes, I'll give you time for any kind of question and answers with respect to with respect to the topics I have covered. Then later, we'll dig deep into the network engineer concepts, which may go for 1 hour. So 10 minutes, 20 minutes, and then we take like another 13, 15 minutes for question and answers. Maybe I can give you a gap of 5 minutes for your coffee or break, whatever you want. Then 1 hour of complete session on network concepts. Today we are going to cover networks for 60 to 80 minutes, 1 hour, 1 hour, 10 minutes, 20 minutes. Tomorrow we are going to discuss about desktop engineer. Desktop engineer is max 1 hour. Network engineer, it may take like 1 hour to 1.5 hours. Some or other way we have to finish this concept today. And each and every concept will be followed by a quiz, which has around 25 questions. So depending on your learning, we'll be able to evaluate how good you are in learning and how good you are in listening skills. Okay, very easy concepts. You just need to pay the attention and make it very interactive. Whenever I ask you any question, you guys need to respond in the chat. Okay, yes, you can reply to all in the chat. Right now I am not giving permissions for anyone to unmute. Okay, but when I give you the time for any kind of question and answers, at that time I give you the permissions. You guys can feel free to ask any kind of questions. As of now, I assume like you guys have zero knowledge in terms of information security. Considering that, I'll be starting the technical topics. Okay. Concepts for 1 hour, then quiz. Tomorrow, concepts for 1 hour, then quiz. Post that, Maybe today also I'll take another 20 minutes for Q&A, and tomorrow another 20 minutes after concepts and quiz for question and answers. Not only for network engineer, it can be any kind of job that is related to the information security. Okay, great. Let us start with HackerBug. I'll try to quickly finish about our trainings, certifications, everything, because most of you guys are already knowing about us. And one more thing, normally the network engineer concepts will take hardly 1 month of training. And we do have a partnership with some of the companies, consultancies and HRs. Yes, this network engineer training confirmed offer in 30 days. It works well, network engineer role. That we'll discuss it further. Here, this is all about me. I am Hari Subbarao. I have close to 13 years of experience in the corporate. And before I came out of the corporate work, I was working as a security architect. I am familiar with most of these cyber security related concepts, trainings, sales, services, end to end. You can see that I'm coming to my training, commercial training or retail training. From last 5 years, we have been into the industry, and you can see the list of certifications which I hold it. These are from the freshers to 10 years or even 15 years of experience. If you are certified ethical hacker, any person who wants to get into the cyber security or ethical hacking has to take up this mandatory certification. Then rest of the things, ECSA is one more advanced certification. CISSP, this is one of the toughest certification in the world for those who wants to get into the information security. Hardly you can see like across the globe, 150,000 members are there across all the countries, those who cleared this exam. And of course, I'm also one of it. Then coming to India, in India, we have close to 3,000 members. In US alone, there are 1 lakh people. The rest of the other countries, 40,000. In case if you want to become a cyber security architect, cyber security manager, or a director, this kind of certification holds good. Rest of the things are dependent on the specializations. For example, CCSA is related to the cloud. If you want to become or if you want to get into the training that is related to the cloud security, you need to clear this certification. Source code analysis. If you like programming and if you want to become a hacker plus programmer, basically you need to write some of the simple code snippets which can be used for hacking. There we have to even review the source code. Some of the tools like checkmarks, SonarCube, that's where the certification all about. DevSecOps, DevOps plus cybersecurity, and few more other certifications. In fact, there are around 50 to 60 most familiar certifications are there. Depending on your track, depending on your interest, you guys can take up any of these certifications post this training. Okay. You can see some of the awards here. These are the global awards from the Certification Board EC Council. 2023 awards were published in 2024, and Best Cybersecurity Instructor across South Asia and Best Cybersecurity Institute across the globe. That is a hacker. These are two awards which we have got it. Okay, this is all about the trainer. And in fact, I usually give training for the cybersecurity. Within cybersecurity or within CH, network engineer is one of the concepts. Okay, but still with the networks itself, any freshers or even 0 to 3 years of experience can crack the job. That we'll see it. About the trainer and about the company, we do have the services with the 2 or 3 clients as of now, and you can see some of the trainings from us. Cybersecurity job oriented program, fresher intern program, and CISSP. And certifications, when it comes to the certifications, certified ethical hacker, cloud security, source code analysis, SOC analyst is also one of the good job role, and DevSecOps, certified pen tester, OSCP. Last two are advanced hacking programs, advanced cyber security program, certified pen tester and OSCP. Certified pen tester will cost you around 70,000. OSCP, including the training, will cost you 2 lakh rupees. CISSP, including the training, will cost you 1 lakh. Of course, these are for the people who already have 3 years, 4 years of experience. For freshers, job oriented program, fresher intern program, certified SOC analyst, certified ethical hacker. These four are relevant for the freshers. To get into these jobs, network engineer or network concepts are mandatory. Those concepts we are giving it free of cost for you. Is my voice clear, guys? I see one response has no voice. Are you guys able to hear me? Other members? Perfect. In case if you have any audio challenges, you can reconnect back. Thanks, guys. And even you can find our institution in the Google. You can search for Hacker Book Technologies reviews. Most of the reviews are positive, and of course, those are not paid reviews. Those are from our students. You can reach out to them in their Google account. Not a problem. Okay, fair enough. And this is our institute in Bangalore. In the Google, whatever the pictures you see, that was from the Anantapur, and this is in Bangalore. We do conduct offline sessions for this network engineer with a seating capacity of around 80 plus people. And we do provide job assistance and job help post the train. Okay, good. Some of the candidates who has got jobs in the recent last 3 months, we can say. In fact, it is a mix of ethical hacking, SOC, cloud, freshers. For example, Wipro, Kalyan, 10 years of experience. This guy, 7 years of experience. Again, 5 years of experience. Nopal cyber security, fresher experience. These people are either certified from us or cracked the job from us directly. Freshers and experience. Close to 30 jobs are there last 3 months from 0 to 3 years, 5 years, 10 years. Okay. Okay, great. Now, most of you want to start the career in cybersecurity or as a network engineer. And how do you start? What kind of skills are required for you to get into the job? That we'll see it now. Okay. We are not going to the technical concepts as of now. First, I'm trying to explain you the target jobs. You finish your 10th, you finish your 10 plus 2, and then you have done your graduation. Now you want to get a job. How do you start with? Coming to the networks or cyber security, you guys can crack the job as a fresher or with the 2 years gap, 5 years gap, 10 years gap. And even if you are trying to do a domain shift, that is also possible. And the kind of skills you want and the kind of package. On the left hand side, normally if you want to get into the development, you learn Java, get into the Java engineer, Java lead, and Java architect. Similarly, .NET. And coming to the cyber security, freshers to 3 years. You can see it here, freshers to the 3 years. It is not just fresher. What kind of skills, what kind of job roles will be there? These are the trainees: desktop engineer, network engineer, ethical hacker, and SOC analyst. These are the training programs we have it. Today, network, and tomorrow, desktop. With these two, you should be able to get the job with some of these designations like desktop engineer, network engineer, system admin, system engineer, endpoint security engineer, SOC analyst. Also, you can try NOC engineer. These are the jobs which you can try with this free training. Okay, and rest of the things are like other programs are paid. Whatever I have shown you, the target jobs for these paid programs, you can see it on the right hand side: VAPT engineer, pen tester, security engineer, security analyst, ERC. Cyber security doesn't mean like only one department. There are multiple streams. Okay, that I'm going to explain you in this session itself. Normally for freshers, it will be freshers to 3 years, 2 to 10 lakhs of package. And for 2 to 8 years, it will be 8 to 25. For 6 to 15 years, it will go up to 80 lakhs or even 1 crore also. It all depends on certification count. You do more certifications, your weightage will be more, your demand will be more, you will be paid more. Or you just want to relax and work, yes, you can do that as well with moderate salary. It is left to the individual. But here, we just with today and tomorrow session, I can confidently say that you guys can get into the job with an average of 2.4 lakhs. Okay. Normally, the training, whatever you guys are taking, these three programs, computer network, system admin, and endpoint security. At least you guys would have heard these terms. Computer networks is all about communication between the devices, servers, clients, right? That's all about this concept. System admin means you are going to learn about Windows, Linux, and what kind of tasks will be there as part of Windows and Linux. Those kind of things we'll discuss tomorrow. Endpoint security, it will be there both in computer networks and system admin. We discuss more about antivirus, firewall, intrusion detection system, all the security controls, all the softwares which stops hacking that will come into the endpoint security. This is also covered. Normally it is 3 days. As I said, we are going to do it in 2 days. 30 days of things we are going to finish in 2 days. You need to be very attentive. I'll be asking you some of the questions. Try to answer whatever the knowledge you have it. Okay. And of course, we charge 15,000 for this training normally in our institute. But here we are charging zero cost, and you guys can try for the job with this training alone. Even we provide you the CV, profile, resume preparation, everything. Your job is just to prepare this concept student tomorrow. Try to clear the quiz and put your profile, get a job. Okay. Further, maybe after the training, once you work for 6 months, 1 year, if you want to further continue your studies, you can learn SOC analyst and you can learn cyber security. When you are learning cyber security, right, as a hacker, these are a prerequisite. You should have mandatory these programs. Normally, we charge 20,000 for this training. And advanced programs, let us not get into that for now, as this is freshers to 3 years. Okay. Target jobs, which I have already discussed. Most of you are able to see this picture, right? Try to answer in the chat. What does this picture represents? By looking at this picture, what will come into your mind? Respond in the chat, no mic access. Type your message in the chat. Picture represents. Some of you have said network. Yes, perfect. Any other answers? IDS, firewall will stop hacking. Network infrastructure, architecture, SOC, cloud, network infrastructure, protection, security protection. Yes, perfect. You go to any kind of organization or software company, they design their infrastructure in this manner. Okay. You can see on the left-hand side, billions of users. How many employees are there for Facebook? Approximately. Facebook company, how many employees are there? 10,000, 1 lakh, 10 lakhs. Approximate count of Facebook employees, all the employees, close to 1 lakh. Am I correct? So all these 1 lakh employees, they have to, then they should have a network. They require some kind of communication within their office, and that specific environment or organization or office will be having these kind of devices: load balancers, switches, routers, firewalls, honeypots, websites, then workstations. This is a typical IT infrastructure. Now what we do is we'll slowly learn the technical concepts. Okay, this is the agenda for today. The technical concepts which we are going to learn is IT ecosystem and devices, ports, protocols, IPv4, IPv6, static and dynamic IP address, private and public IP address. How does the DNS works? How does the DHCP works? So basically how we resolve the IP address, how the IP address is assigned, how do you send a mail when you are trying to send a mail to your friend, what kind of communication happens? What do you mean by Active Directory and what is the protocol related to it? Then communication models, TCP versus UDP, some of the tools which are used in computer networks. These tools also will discuss roles and responsibilities of network engineer, and finally the quiz. Okay, yeah, fair enough. I'll give you the small, I mean to say, the career plan for you guys in case if you are not working or if you are looking for a job change. Right now, you are attending the sessions network engineer plus desktop engineer. You might be having questions, can I get a job with this training? That's the reason I'm telling you. Once you finish this training or a workshop for 6 to 8 hours, we'll help you to prepare your resume. You guys can reach out to our support staff. They'll provide you the resume and a sample video for creating your Naukri account. That is also free of cost. And out of 100 members, I would say like 30 to 40% of the members can crack the job by yourself. Upload your profile and go for a job search and you get the job. Then what is the advantage for HackerBook? Of course, we don't mind even like you guys get trained here and get a job without our help. That's good. In case rest of the 70% of the members, it is not like everyone gets the first rank, right? Some candidates will be there, they need some minimal help. So rest of the 70 members require some kind of basic assistance. Assistance in the sense, maybe like you are good, technically you are good, communication you are lagging, or communication is good, but technically still you want to learn more, you want to learn in detail, then you can enroll for the training plus job assistance. When it comes to the job assistance, my team will be able to place you in 30 days. If you try by yourself, it may take like 2 months, 3 months, or even 30 days also it may take. But the reason is we work with multiple consultancies and companies, direct companies for the placements. That is a reason the job process will be faster if you are getting through us. This is an option, okay? It's not mandatory. Either you can get into the training or you can get into the job assistance. As we said, 30 days, and of course there are some charges are there for the placement assistance, like with a minimal interview that my team can answer your placement charges. It will not go beyond 80 beyond 1 lakh and minimum of 70,000 for one job with an approximate package of 2.5 lakhs for freshers to 2020 passed outs. 854 triple nine 5,000, 854 triple nine 2,000. These are our placement in charge or placement team. In case after your training, if you want to get in touch with them, you guys can reach out to them. Okay, good. Before we move on to the technical concepts now, I'm giving you 5 minutes of time, or let us start the technical sessions as most of you are active. Okay, great. Role of a network engineer will start. To get into that, right now, I want to build a website called HTTPS or HTTP, something like abcbank.com. If I want to build this website or if I want to develop this website, I need some servers, right? Can anyone tell me or any idea what kind of servers are required for logic, for storage, for enabling the application normally? Web server is the role of web server is it enable your application online. There is an app server and database server, right? These three are mandatory if you want to develop a website or even if you want to develop some applications which provides support to the mobiles also. Okay. In general, the web server, app server, and along with this, the clients, we call it like three-tier architecture. Okay. When I say website, it will be having some users, and these users are able to send a request. You send a request and you get the response. You send a request, the server will respond. Each and every user, whenever they try to perform some activities, the server will respond with the relevant response. I'll say like user 1, user 2, user 3, user 4, user 5 slash user 5. In fact, he is a hacker. Hacker is also one of the user, right? When someone tries to hack your website, they might be having one sample account or a trial account also. Okay, good. Now, let me ask you some simple questions. As a human, you can understand whatever I speak, right? Because you know English or you know some other language. How does the systems, devices, or computers communicate? Respond in the chat. Do they understand English, Tamil, Telugu, English, Kannada? How do they understand? How do they communicate? If user 1 is sending a request to the server or a website, they respond, but they don't use any kind of language. What is the basis for that? Yes, most of your answers are correct. The communication is done with bits, but they understand with the help of instructions. Am I correct? The instructions will be already fed into the system or into the device. Okay, for this kind of request, we need this kind of response. And in terms of computer, sorry, yes. In terms of computer networks, these instructions are called, anyone? Protocols. Protocols means the set of rules or guidelines that are required for communication from device to device or a system to system. Okay, everything. For example, you go to a software company, you are an employee, of Wipro, you are an employee of TCS. Tell me some kind of activities you do as an engineer, technical activities you do when you get into the job, technical works. You launch a website, right? That is one technical activity. Any other technical activities? You send an email, then anything else? You try to share files, create a network, schedule meetings. Meetings also you schedule. Then anything else? Have you done VPN connection anytime? VPN connection, some presentations. Do you swipe your ID card when you are trying to log into your company? You try to swipe your log. Do you do remote access? Yes, of course. Do you print something, some kind of documents? Yes. All these activities, each and every activity here will be mapped to some protocol. When I talk a website, there will be a protocol which helps for the website to communicate to the end users. What is meant by protocol? Set of rules and guidelines. What is the protocol related to the website? Anyone? HTTP and HTTPS. That is protocol related to the websites. Anyone, what is the protocol related to the email? You are sending a mail to your friend. So there should be one protocol which helps to communicate between client and server. SMTP. Like this, each and every activity will have a protocol which helps to perform that job. File sharing, file transfer protocol. Meetings, normally Zoom meeting, some kind of protocols related to the UDP, and for messaging, IMAP is also used. VPN protocols. Anyone meeting VPN protocols? Point to point protocol, L2TP, layer to tunnel protocol. Don't worry about this. I'm not going to ask you any questions on this. L2TP, layer to tunnel protocol. Swiping ID authentication related protocols. Remote access RDP. For printing, all this printer or resource management SNMP. All these protocols we are going to discuss. For now, let us start with the website. As I said, we have a website. These users are trying to communicate with the website and it follows this protocol. Whenever the computer communicates with the external computer, it has to open a port number. Port number. Imagine, port means virtual channel where the communication happens. The question is total number of ports. How many ports will be there in a system? Anyone? Total number of computers. Total number of ports in a system. 65535. Remember, very important interview question. If I talk a web server, 65535 ports are there. It is like a cinema theater is there. There will be entry door and exit door. If a hacker or some other person, unknown person wants to get into the theater, some doors has to be opened. Same thing here. When your website wants to talk to the external network, if you are using HTTP, the default port number for HTTP is 80. So here port number 80 should be open. If it is closed, we cannot configure a website. If you are using HTTPS, what is the default port number for HTTPS? The default port number for HTTPS is 443. Like this, at least close to 15 familiar protocols are there. You need to remember those protocol and its default port number. HTTP stands for Hypertext Transfer Protocol. Hypertext Transfer Protocol, and HTTPS stands for Hypertext Transfer Protocol Secure. Secure means, okay, anyone tell me which one is preferred for better and secure communication? HTTP or HTTPS? Try to answer whatever you guys know, because when you answer the questions, you can remember for a long time. Okay. HTTPS secure means secure communication happens through HTTPS because of encryption. Remember this. Encryption means plain text will be converted into the ciphertext or encrypted text. Similarly, when you are trying to send some emails, you have one more server here. You are trying to send a mail to your friend. It uses email server. You send a request and you get the response. Here is one more user. User 10 from different organization. Email server. Email server also uses a protocol called SMTP. The full form of SMTP is Simple Mail Transfer Protocol, and its default port number is anyone? Default port number for SMTP is 25. This is a website, abcbank.com. Think like the organization is here. Let me highlight with, okay, orange color. This is a software company. Within the company, this web server is existing. Now, one employee is here. He is a database admin. Have you heard of database admin role? Anyone? What does he do? Database administrator. Database administrator role. He tries to set up, he tries to manage the database, he tries to update any kind of queries, or he tries to troubleshoot any kind of issues to the database. Think like he wants to do a remote connection from his laptop to the database server. Laptop to database server. If he wants to do a remote login, have you guys tried anyone remote login to any systems? What is the protocol? What is the protocol for remote login, remote desktop? RDP. RDP, remote desktop protocol, and its default port number is 3389. This is a place where RDP is used. Okay, good. RDP, SMTP, HTTP, HTTPS. Then let's talk about the firewalls. Remote desktop protocol. Your software company, whenever someone sends a request, all these users from outside of your organization, whenever they are trying to send a request to any kind of application which is inside of your organization, it has to go through the firewall between the users and between the servers. The firewall will be here, the red color line. Every data, every communication happens through the firewall. Of course, before the firewall, the internet connection happens with the help of a router. This router, from the router, then firewall. After firewall, IDS, IPS will be there. Firewall is a port filtering device, means out of 65535 ports in this web server, firewall has to allow only one port to the users. Which one do you allow out of 80, 3389, and one more port number is 21 and 389. Out of these port numbers, I have enabled a website here. So firewall will allow only one port. Considering that it will allow only one port, do you open 80 or 3389 or 21? What is your answer? We have to give access of our website to the end users. That's how we do the business, right? Flipkart is there, Facebook is there, Flipkart, Facebook, or Instagram, or banking websites, or insurance websites, any kind of website. If they want to do the business, that website should be accessible to the end users. If end users want to access that website, then we need to allow that specific communication channel. In case if we are using HTTP, the default port number is 80. So we have to allow 80 in the firewall. Firewall is a port filtering device. We can allow or block any kind of incoming or outgoing traffic from the IP, from any IP address through the port numbers. That is the job of firewall. It is like some VIP house is there. Think like a VIP house, some MLA or MP. When you want to meet the MLA or MP, do you directly bypass the security guard and go and meet him, or you need to go through the security guard? You have to go through a door. Security guard will be there. Okay, you are allowed or not allowed. If you are allowed, they'll allow. If you are not allowed, they don't allow. The firewall will do that job. Okay, port number 80 is allowed. User 5 is trying to do a RDP to web server. Is it allowed? The firewall will allow this traffic or block the traffic. Firewall will block this traffic because there is no rule saying that, okay, the end users, external users can access the web server. I'll try to tell you one more activity. You need to tell me whether it is allowed or blocked. Database administrator is doing a remote login with RDP to the database server. Is it allowed or blocked? In fact, there is no firewall, but it will allow or block. Database admin trying to do a remote desktop to the database server. It is like the manager is trying to get into the manager chamber, or VIP MP MLA is here and MLS PA is here. He is trying to meet the MLA. The security guard stops the personal assistant. No, right? Same thing here. Database administrator will always have the access to the database server. He can do a remote login because that is his role, to configure, to troubleshoot any kind of issues. That's how the firewall will play a significant role to allow or block some traffic. Database administrator trying to do a remote login to user 4 through RDP. Is it allowed? Normally it depends on the firewall rule. Firewall rule, if there is no rule blocking it, we can access. In case if the outbound traffic is blocked, we cannot. Okay, good. The next one is IP address, very interesting topic. Could you please repeat the questions? Okay, I have asked few questions, right? What is three-tier architecture? Web server, app server, and database server. What is meant by protocol? Set of rules and instructions for communication. Then, what is the default port number for HTTP? 80. Default port number for HTTPS 443. Default port number for RDP 3389. Default port number for SMTP 25. And what is meant by firewall? Firewall is a port filtering device. We can allow or block the traffic from the internet. What is the full form of IDS, IPS? Intrusion Detection System, Intrusion Prevention System. Port number 80 is allowed. Website is allowed. Say for example, watchman is there. Okay. Watchman will say like, we will check whether this person is allowed or not. One person is there. He is allowed. In fact, he has some permission. Does the watchman checks what is he carrying in his pocket? One person is there trying to get into meet some VIP. Watchman either allow or block, but he will not check his pockets if he is carrying some weapons or not. Am I correct? Who will check if have you seen these some scanning devices when you are trying to enter the shopping mall or theater? All are allowed to the theater, but before entering the theater, they scan you for carrying any kind of dangerous weapons, right? Metal detection, yes, perfect. Same thing here, guys. 2 minutes. I'm getting one important call. Okay, sorry guys, I got one important call. Yeah, where are we? Metal detector, right? So though some ports are allowed, website is allowed, it doesn't mean like always we get a safe traffic, safe request. There are chances that the in the allowed port also we get some malicious traffic or malicious request. Someone has to do the deep inspection of these packets. See here, deep inspection of the traffic or the packets. These metal detectors, what it does, it will try to scan you for carrying any kind of things which are not allowed. The job of this metal detector will be done by IDS and IPS in case of networks, computer networks. Deep inspection of the packets. So IDS, what it does is, it will try to scan every packet, network packet that comes in and out from your company or from the outside network. And if those packets are suspicious, it will send an alert. IDS will send an alert to whom? Alert to the SOC team. Remember, SOC team means security operating system. Normally, you should have heard tools like Splunk, QRadar. These tools will try to monitor your network. In this network, any kind of activities are being monitored. So, suspicious packet received, it will generate an alert. But just detects, IDS detects, no block, doesn't block, means still it allows the traffic. Says that, okay, some person is trying to access the RDP. It will give you an alert, but it will not stop. Okay, you can go and access. It will ask for the username and password, but the packet is allowed. In case of IPS, intrusion prevention system, the same thing here. It does the deep inspection, but the thing is, it is not only for detection. It will try to stop those packets. This guy, the hacker, is trying to do a RDP to the 3389 to the database server. IPS, the firewall itself will stop. Assume like the hacker is trying to send some malicious request to the website. Firewall is allowed. This one will detect that, send an alert to the SOC team, and also drop those packets. Detect and drop. That is the functionality of IPS. Okay. Okay, good. We'll study few more devices. Load balancer also will be there. Load balancer, the name itself will tell, it will try to balance the load. What is mean by balancing? It's not like the doing a balance. It is like trying to distribute the traffic equally. You, when I say database server, it will be like 5 database servers will be there. When I say app servers, it will be like 3 app servers, 4 app servers, web servers, 3. Any kind of website, it is not like a single server. That is called cluster. Okay. Anyhow, those are advanced concepts. Think like 3 web servers are there for this website. We are getting a 3 requests from the user. With load balancer, each web server will get 1 request. If there are 30 requests from the outside network to the web server, each web server will get how many requests? Yeah, that is just a simple mass calculation. Each web server will get 20 requests, sorry, 10 requests. Total 30, 3 web servers are there, and the load balancer will distribute the traffic. That is the job of load balancer. Okay, fine. Let us quickly learn some important protocols, which is very important here. FTP, File Transfer Protocol. What is the default port number? In case if you have heard of it. If you don't know, don't worry. You can learn this slowly, no issues. If you have already have some knowledge, 21. Secure Shell, default port number is 22. Telnet, secure way of administration is secure shell. Telnet is, it is not a secure communication. Remote administration, 23. SMTP, 25. DNS stands for domain name system. Domain name system, how does the DNS works? I'll tell you. 53. DHCP, 67, 68. Okay. Then HTTP, port number 80. Kerberos. Kerberos is an authentication protocol used in the Active Directory, and its default port number is 88. POP3 is related to the emails on the receiving end. We'll discuss how the emails work. 110. Network time protocol. 123. IMAP, Internet Message Access Protocol. 143. Then NetBIOS, 137, 138, and 139. SNMP, Simple Network Management Protocol. 161 and 162. Any other protocols? 161, 162, SNMP, then HTTPS. 443. SMB protocol 445. RDP 3389. LDAP. Remember, LDAP means Lightweight Directory Access Protocol. It is used in the Active Directory. 3389389. Very easy to remember. MySQL. MySQL is 3306. Network File Systems. NFS 2049. Voice over IP. Everyone you knows WhatsApp voice calls, right? WhatsApp voice calls are done with the help of this protocol. 5060. Fair enough. These protocols are enough for us to remember. Or did I miss any other protocols? We'll share these recorded videos. Don't worry, guys. We'll share it. Yes, proxy, HTTP proxy. What is the default port number for proxy? 8080. Okay, good. Some more related to the digital certificates. ISA KMP, Internet Security Association Key Management Protocol 500. Okay. And LDAPS, LDAP Secure is 636. IT ecosystem devices, then IP addresses, ports, protocols, IPv4, public and private IP address. We'll move on to the second and third concept now. I see a question. What is the use of port numbers? Port numbers are like logical channels. For a theater, there will be entry and exit. Those are doors for a theater. For a computer, for a system, entry and exit will be there, no? Those are logical channels. Those are nothing but ports. If you want to communicate with the external network, port should be opened. Okay? But that is just a logical channel. How the communication happens is with the help of rules and with the help of guidelines. That those are nothing but protocols. Protocol default port number. Those things I have mentioned it here. These are the default port numbers. It doesn't mean like always the website has to be with 443. You can host it with the different port number also, no issues. Fine, guys. Let us do one thing. You guys need a break for 5 minutes. Next, we are going to discuss about IP addresses. Here it requires the labs. We'll do some labs now. Simple labs. If you have the laptop, log in with the laptop. I'll be asking you some questions through the practicals. You can answer it. Okay, we'll hold on for 7 minutes. 11:13 now, 14:15 and 11:20. Sharp 11:20, I'll start the session. Let's take a break. After that, 1 hour of very, very good concepts, IP addresses. If you don't want break, then you can revise these concepts, whatever is there in the screen. Remember, we have a quiz. Quiz will cover all these questions. Another 2 minutes, we'll start the session. We'll move on to the new concept now. IP addresses, IPv4, IPv6. If you want to become a hacker or if you want to become a network engineer, you should have a very clear understanding of the networks, IP addresses. So before we move on, let me ask you 10 questions. Try to respond in the chat. You can reply to all. Don't look at the answer. Just put some efforts to your memory. See if you can answer those. 10 seconds for each question. First question. What is the default port number for HTTP? These are the interview questions for freshers to 3 years in network engineer and desktop engineer jobs. Default port number for HTTP is 80. Default port number for SMTP. Let me change the screen. Okay, now you guys need to answer. SMTP 25. Default port number for RDP. RDP. Double 389. What is the authentication protocol that is used in the Active Directory? What is the authentication protocol used in the Active Directory? Protocol name. I see some of you are mentioning the protocol number. Protocol name is Kerberos. Protocol number is 88. What is the protocol that is used in the Active Directory? Remember, Active Directory protocol is different. Active Directory authentication protocol is different. Now the protocol for Active Directory is LDAP. Default port number for LDAP is LDAP is 389. LDAP secure 636. Okay, good. Default port number for HTTPS. HTTPS default port number is 443. What is the difference between IDS and IPS? Just a short answer. Try to type and message. Difference between IDS and IPS. IDS detects the suspicious packets but allows those packets inside the organization. IPS, not just detection. It will stop or it will block those packets entering into the organization. That is called IPS. Okay, good. What is the full form of HTTPS? HTTPS. HTTPS stands for Hypertext Transfer Protocol Secure. What are the components that are required to build a website? Three major servers that are required to build a website. Web server, app server, and database server. Remember, database server is for storage. App server is for business logic. Database server is that is for storage. Means storing of data. App server means the framework, the business logic will be implemented in the app server. Web server will enable your application online. Okay. This is the job of each and every server. Okay. Uh, Fine. I'll tell you some of the job roles. Means like you might be heard of some of the jobs in the online or outside. I'll tell you the job role. You have to tell me which server or which place they'll be working. Okay. The first one, database tester, which is the server they'll be more concentrating. Database tester, his work will be mostly evaluating the database queries, means database server. That is the answer. Next job role is front end developer. Which server he'll be targeting? Front end developer, server or device or whatever it is. Front end developer will be mostly his work will be to develop the web pages like HTML page, HTML, CSS, JavaScript. All those will be working on the browser, but that browser will render the data from the web server. Clear? Okay. The next one, Java developer. Java developer will try to implement the logic how that application has to work. If I click on 5 into 5 is equal to, if I click on is equal to 25 will come in a calculator, but that logic is implemented in the application server. Okay, good. Then we do have job roles. Again, .NET developer, app server. Only thing is the framework will vary. .NET we need to install .NET framework. For Java we need to install JDK, Java Development Kit in the server operating system. Firewall engineer, it is very easy answer. Most of his work is not about the server. You can select anything within this picture. Where does the firewall engineer work? Many of you are saying web server is not web server. Basically, firewall is a tool. He'll be working on the in this firewall, but the firewall rules, everything will be accessible through the firewall tool. Okay. I'll give you some options. SOC engineer will work on firewall or web server or database server or load balancer or all the above? I see some responses as firewall, some responses are all the above. In fact, answer is all. I gave you one example of the unauthorized access to the firewall or the IDS, but any kind of violation in the company will generate an alert. Any kind of violation. You try to plug in the USB to your laptop, it will generate the alert. You try to access some of the restricted websites like youtube.com, it will generate an alert. That is the job of SOC engineer. Few more jobs are there. Network engineer. Where does he work? I'll tell you the options. Employee laptops, security controls like firewall, IDS, IPS, employee laptops, security controls, server operating system, all the above. The answer is all because he has to configure the servers, he has to configure the desktops, he has to configure the firewalls, whatever is related to the networks, he has to be available. Desktop engineer. He is supposed to work on firewalls, data centers, the employee laptops, or all the above. In fact, 70% of the work will be with the laptops only. The rest 30% is everything. But still, he should be having the knowledge for the entire IT ecosystem. Okay. Most of his work is with the employee laptops. But along with that, he should have the knowledge across entire computer networks. Let me give you a few more job roles. Big data developer. Remember, big data is a concept related to the database. So nowadays you see, right, billions of users will be there. Lot of data is there. That data has to be processed and that data has to be retrieved in a very short span to support huge number of data, terabytes of data. We get into the big data like Hadoops, any other big data technologies? Yes, Hadoops. Of course, it is related to the database again. Database servers. Okay. Mm, fair enough. There are a few more job roles are there like ethical hacker. Ethical hacker mainly targets where does he work? Websites or networks or mobiles or all? What is the answer? I am a hacker. I am okay to hack a website. I am okay to hack a mobile or I am okay to hack the network. Why should I hack it? Because I need the sensitive data. I want some sensitive data like personal details and financial details. Good. Most of you are able to. Now you got the fair idea, right? What exactly we do. The reason why these cyber security networks and desktop related job roles are important is I'll try to highlight our jobs. Network engineer, firewall engineer. These are our course related job roles. Ethical hacker. Why these jobs are important means the non-cyber security jobs are meant for those are non-cyber security jobs are based on the business. If your business is good, you try to have more developers, more testers, more scientist, data related scientist, data science. If the business is good, assume like 1,000 employees are there. 1,000 employees are there. If your business is good, if your business is not good, you have to reduce the staff. How much you want to reduce? It may go to 500 or it may go to 200 also if your business is not good. But the same infrastructure, IT infrastructure, think like out of 1,000, total 1,000 employees are there across multiple departments. IT infrastructure, 100 members will be there. Just I'm giving you an example. Whether your business is good or not, IT sec, IT security team and network team is always required. You don't want security guard if you are not doing good in the politics. Security guard, watchman, cameras for a people like VIPs or even for banks. Whether your business is good or not, your company, the assets has to be protected. So this will not have much effect. If not in much effect, will not have much effect. Instead of 100, maybe like 95, we take it. That's it. That's the reason these IT infra and IT security jobs will not get affected because of the recession. Always these are evergreen. Okay, rest of the things are driven by the business. IT security jobs are not driven by the business. Those are necessity. Okay, those are mandatory. You have seen, XMLAs, XMPs, though they are not in the position, they require a security guard. That's how it is. Okay, great. Fine, guys. 11:38 now. 12:30. Artificial intelligence means like it is based on the facts. Like we feed the instructions and it is based on some kind of past data and analysis. That's how the artificial intelligence work. Where does that comes into picture means basically, here I cannot say some specific picture. Again, like it is based on the data. Artificial intelligence, machine learning, no, those are again based on the data only. Again, database and app server. How this artificial intelligence works? You feed some instructions. From that instructions, again, you try to derive. That's how the AI works, artificial intelligence. Do you guys have any questions? I'll give 5 minutes of time. I'm giving you access to the mic. Let me go for Q&A for 5 minutes. 11:40 now till 11:45. Either you can use mic or you can post it in the chat. Guys, these big data, artificial intelligence, data science, DevOps, these job roles are meant for experienced candidates, minimum of 4 years of experience. For a fresher, 1 year of experience, you will not get any kind of job opportunities. Those has demand, but they require the knowledge. For example, you talk about DevOps engineer. DevOps means it is more of like automated deployments. Automated deployments. In one server, there is some software. Automatically, it has to copy to some other server. So that server can be Linux, or it can be Windows, or it can be any other flavor. And again, after that, there are a lot of tools are there. You should be familiar with some kind of batch scripting or Python or Perl. So to gain this kind of knowledge, you require at least 4 years of experience. This is not meant for freshers. Similarly, even the big data or data science also, you should have a clear understanding of database server, how database is stored, data is stored, how to retrieve that, what are the different technologies. Definitely no, these are not meant for freshers. Okay, let me see some of the questions. Does network engineer comes under IT or non-IT? Remember, all these IT related jobs, all these networks and cyber security comes under IT. Only thing is, that doesn't involve coding. Doesn't involve coding means it doesn't mean that it's not coming under IT. These are pure IT jobs. In fact, you consider me, I am a cybersecurity architect. I handle the teams of SOC. Okay, I handle the teams of ethical hacking. I handle the team of GRC, governance, risks, and compliance. What does this team do? It means it will check if your employee laptop is having antivirus, firewall, IDS, up to date, audits are done in time or not. IT asset management. Who tries to manage all these servers? Networks. We need to set up the network. We need to set up the laptop. We need to install the tools. We need to install the policies. Network team is different. Cloud security team is different. Audits team is different. Then threat mon threat hunting team is closely related to the SOC again. That team is different. HR team is different. HR also we work cybersecurity engineers. So as an architect, I am head of all these groups. If you want to work in these groups, it takes at least 10 years because SOC you require 2 years of experience, cybersecurity 2 years. If you have worked in cybersecurity hacker, there is no need of network because automatically it will come 1 year of experience in networks, 1 year of experience in cloud. That's how you become a cybersecurity manager or architect. These are all IT related job roles. Okay, let me see some more questions. I just trained and it is of no use of the data science. Don't worry, you guys are going through this training. Attend tomorrow's session. I cannot assure you higher packages, but I can assure you the 100% job guarantee with an approximate package of 2.4 LPA for the freshers. And for 1 year of experience, 3.2. For 2 years of experience, 4 lakhs per annum. Right now, we have a decision for the next 6 months or 1 year. Getting a job is important. Don't think of the earnings. Get a job, gain the experience, and be independent for your finances. Okay. What kind of a job role a fresher can get? That we have discussed. Again, I will come back to that later. What is the difference between ethical hacker and penetration tester? Both are same. WAFA. I have learned Maltigo. Maltigo is an information gathering tool. Yes, of course. Information gathering tool. Cyber security, ethical hacker. You will learn 50 plus tools. Okay. Maltigo is one of the tools. Difference between blue team and purple team and red team. SOC is blue. Okay. What is that they are trying to do? They are trying to monitor your network. Ethical hacker. U5 is real hacker. U4 is ethical hacker. I'll tell you the difference, ethical hacker and real hacker. U5 is real hacker, user 5. User 4 is ethical hacker. If user 5 hacks the website, he is going to sell it. He is going to misuse the data. Ethical hacker is part of the organization. If he is able to figure out any kind of hacking or any kind of security compromise, he will fix that issue. That is the difference. Both will hack. Both knows how to hack it, but ethical hacker will try to fix it. So this person, ethical hacker, is called red team. You got difference between red team and blue team now. Red team is offensive. They try for hacking. They work on the offensive techniques. They check for servers can be hacked or not. Blue team is defensive. They monitor your network. Understood the difference between red team and blue team? Okay, good. And there are 2 minutes for the Q&A. Later, there are a few concepts which we need to cover. We'll get into that. Okay. Fine. AI will replace the job of SOC analyst? No. It will make those tools efficient, but we cannot replace the hacker. Okay. Is it supposed to post a good way to step into the networking IT field, or should I wait for the network engineer job role? Network engineer, network IT, these are the network engineer job roles or IT jobs. Even desktop engineer also IT job. Freshers to 2 years, it doesn't make much difference. After 3 years, you need to change your career into the ethical hacker or SOC. One fresher got job in cloud and any role, what is it? They maintain all services or not? Cloud is like we need to monitor your cloud services, cloud applications. If you have in HR domain 2 years of experience, but it will be considered. Yes, it can be considered. Ananta. Question from Sai Sridev. I'm a CSC Cybersecurity 2024 graduate and I'm trying for a job in computer science domain, but CS role asking minimum 1 year of experience. Yes, I said Java, .NET, all the companies are expecting the 3 years, 4 years experience. Right now, the market is not good for development, not good for DevOps. Those are good for experienced candidates. For freshers, 2 years, network engineer, desktop engineer are the best. And of course, if you are trying by yourself, it takes 2-3 months. If you take job assistance with us, 100% we can place you within 20-30 days. For 2024, is there any other placement program available? Yes, of course. This is a workshop. With the workshop itself, you guys can crack the job. But if you need some help, you can reach out to us in the Bangalore office, or you can reach out to our support numbers. I have order management experience. If I have to move, it is my experience considered. Yes, sir, no, it is considered. CCS and certification required. CCNP certification is optional, but good to have it in case if you want to become a network engineer. As a fresher, how can we get that experience? How can we learn that experience? Which company? Every company requires network engineer. Every company requires desktop engineer. Okay, we have tie up with 1,000+ companies. Hackerbook. AI will replace all the jobs. AI will not replace all the jobs. It makes it efficient. I drive Ford Figo. Some other person has sports car. Doesn't mean like if sports car has come, we don't use Ford Figo normal car. Everything has got its own importance. AI will replace some of the customer care jobs, supporting related job roles. Research related job roles, development related job roles can't be replaced. 10 to 15% of the manpower will be affected. It is not like 100%. It depends on the domain. AI will replace 10-15% of all the jobs, 50 to 70% of support related jobs, technical support related jobs, outsourcing related jobs. Okay, business processing outsourcing. That's where AI will be more effective. Operational technology is more about you have this infrastructure, right? You need to provide security for entire infrastructure. It can be IoT devices also. Can we get remote work? After 1 year of experience, you get a remote work. I have 2.5 years of experience. Is there any job now for me? 1 year of experience. I'm not getting calls. Shankar Sama, get in touch with our staff. Okay. For any further job roles. I have learned ethical hacking, like just I have to practice, so I need to learn more courses. Would that be helpful? My recommendation is get into the job first. Learning will be always there. It is a continuous program. So what you have to do is after you finish your workshop, try for a job. Within a month, get into the job. Earn 18,000 to 25,000 per month. Then plan your career. Don't spend time in planning your career or just learning without salary. That's what my recommendation. To answer the question of Sri and even someone with K, Google cyber security professional certification. Can I get a job in cyber security with no experience? Cyber security fresher jobs also there, but really you need good experience, good hands-on knowledge. That evaluation can be done by my team. They will do a mock interview, call to those numbers. Most of the companies are asking for CCNP certificate, that is Venkat Srinath. Reach out to us, Srinath. We should be able to place you with network engineer role without that certification. Freshers will get a job in this SOC? Yes, of course. SOC also we do have the fresher job opportunities. I have a certification in ethical hacking essentials level 1. Is it useful? Yes, of course. Fine, guys. Last one question. How to gain an experience in cybersecurity? You need to get into the job. Okay. Any lab sources to practice? In fact, due to the time constraints for network engineer job role, for desktop engineer job role, I am not covering the lab setup for you guys. Usually, no, you should have this kind of a lab setup. This virtual machine setup where you have the Kali Linux, a hacker box. Kali Linux is a hacker system, and to practice Windows hacking Windows 7 system, to practice Windows 7 website hacking Metasploitable Linux, and to practice any mobile related hacking Ubuntu, where I have configured the mobile software. Like this, lot of virtual machines are required if you really want to get into the cyber security. That is not part of this course. That's the reason we try to restrict to the networking. I can share you the demo video of our ethical hacking concepts. If you are interested, you guys can go through that YouTube video as well. Okay. Fine, guys. We are running out of time. Let us move on to the IP address concept. Very interesting. I'll be asking you some questions. You need to check in your laptop and tell. Okay, great. Demo of cybersecurity. You should be able to get it here. Let me check. I'll post that video right now. It will be there in our YouTube channel. Just type HackerBook Technologies. This is our channel. There are around 1088 or how many people? 1800 members has been enrolled. Cybersecurity job in 30 days. This is for the cybersecurity 2.5 hour video is there posted just 3 weeks back. Hey, still thinking about. You guys can go through that if you need more. I have explained more about endpoint security, these job roles here. We do have other videos, maybe like mobile hacking, some more videos. You guys can go through these cloud concepts, mobile hacking concepts anytime at your free time. Okay. Freshers placements, old videos, but for now, CH and SOC also there. Okay. Mm, okay. We are done with Q&A. Again, we'll come back to the Q&A, just learn some technical concepts. First thing, there is a router. Everyone knows router, right? How are you getting the internet? With the help of router. Okay. Think like I have got a geo router just because I want the internet connection. Now, who provides the internet connection to you? Who provides the internet connection? ISP. Internet service provider. Then some ISPs in India. Geo, BSNL, Airtel, Act, Hathway. These are some of the examples of ISPs within India. They provide the internet connection. You need to provide the KYC. If you want internet connection, you have to provide KYC, right? What is the full form of KYC? KYC details. What do you provide? They don't, they just don't give you the internet connection like that. Know your customer. You need to provide your ID proof and address proof. Then only you get the internet connection. Either it can be wired or it can be wireless through the router. To your router, you have connected one laptop, one mobile, one printer, then two more mobile devices. Lap 1, printer 1, mobile 1, mobile 2. These mobiles are connected wireless, and printer is wired, laptop is also assumed like it is a wired connection. Okay. So now one more device is there like this somewhere in India, one more router in India, one more router in US. It can be a router, it can be wired connection. Lab 5 and mobile 5. Here lab 10 and mobile 10. The devices which are connected behind these routers. Very simple. This is not at all like technical. Of course, these are technical, but these are the things which you see in your real time. Am I correct? Most of you would have seen this kind of concept. Only thing is you would have not reiterated or revised these concepts. Okay. Here assume like ACT internet I am using. This is also again from India, ISPs. This is from US. Tell me some ISPs in US. Internet service providers. Verizon. Then AT&T, correct. Any other ISPs in US? You can check in Google. Cox, yes, correct. Spectrum. Okay, good. Enough. All these ISPs are managed by one common board that is called INA, Internet Assigned Numbering Authority. Okay, because this router has got one IP address like 121.23.12.141. This is called public IP address. What is the use of IP address? Anyone tell me? You can use mic as well. I'm giving you permissions. Or you can respond in the chat. What is the use of IP address? To secure data, to identify device, to communicate from one system to other system. Most of the answers are correct. You are trying to send a message, WhatsApp message from here to some person in America or US, right? How does that communication happens? It has to identify that device. Am I correct? So IP address is used to uniquely identify a device in the internet. Make sense? This device public IP address with the help of this number 121.23.12.141. This is called IPv4 address. With this IP address, I should be able to identify my device in the world, in the entire internet. Within the world, no other user gets this IP address. Okay, that is the significance of IP address. It is like, can you identify some person with the help of his name? Say, for example, Hyderabad. I want to identify a person with a name called Smith, Smith, Smith. You go to Hyderabad bus stand and ask like, I want to meet my friend Smith. Is it possible? I don't know his address, I don't know his zip code, I just know the name. No, it is not possible because Smith, the name can be lot of people will be there. So if you want to identify a person with the name, what is the unique identification thing? Maybe like PAN card, Aadhaar card, voter ID will be helpful to uniquely identify him. Same thing here. Any device in the internet can be uniquely identified with the help of public IP address. How to find the public IP address now? All of you launch. Okay, first I'll do. Anyone knows how to launch, how to check public IP address? Without IP address, we cannot communicate with the external network. I want to find out the public IP address of my computer here. Just go to the google.com, type what is my IP address. You get multiple references. You can select the first one, click on that. It is showing 122.166.252.249. How many groups are there? 4 groups. Okay. This format is IPv4 format. Something like A.B.C.D IPv4 format. And this is the public IP address. It is from Bangalore, Karnataka, and my ISP is Bharti Airtel, right? Internet service provider. I want all of you guys to check IP address of your system. You can just post first 3 groups. Last group, you just name it as X. Something like 122.166.252.x, because if you give the complete IP address, it is some kind of a compromise. So last group, you just mention it like X. Try to find out the IP address of your laptop or your mobile and post it in the chat. Everyone, I want the public IP address. Remember, you can get the public IP address by using any of this lookup. So we use whatismyipaddress.com. You should be able to get your public IP address. And this is unique within the world, within the internet. This IP address will be unique. Okay. Now tell me, mobile 1, mobile 2, mobile 3 is connected to the same router. Okay. What will be the public IP address of this router? Public IP address of this router. This mobile is getting the internet with the help of this router. So what will be the public IP address of this router? It will be same as that of the router. Mobile 3 public IP address is 121.23.12.141. Router IP address, we get it as a public IP address, and even mobile 3 public IP address is same. What is the mobile 2 public IP address? Again, it is same. Mobile 1 also same. I'm just mentioning public IP address, okay? Printer also same and laptop 1 is also same. If all these IP addresses behind the router have same public IP address, then how do we identify these devices behind the router? There should be some mechanism, no? So it doesn't mean like, okay, here mobile 3 belongs to the John and laptop 5, mobile 5 belongs to Rose and mobile 2 belongs to Smith. When Rose sends a WhatsApp message to John, it has to go to the John only. It should not go to the Smith. Mobile 5, Rose is sending a WhatsApp message. From ACT router, it will go to this geo router. From this geo router, from router to router, public IP address is used. Behind the router, how does it identify the devices is with the help of private IP address. Remember, private IP address will be different. Mobile 3 private IP address, it might be like 192.168. Something like 21.112. And for mobile 2, this might be having the private IP address as something like this. Instead of 12, maybe, okay, hold on. Instead of 12, it might be 13. Okay. And for mobile 1, it might be 15. Need not be in sequence. For laptop 1, it might be some other number like 41. Private IP address, you can see that 192.16.23, 192.60, 192.168.23.13, 23.15, 23.41. First three groups are same. Only the last group is changing in case of private IP address, right? So the devices behind the router can be identified with the help of private IP address. How to find private IP address now? If it is a Windows operating system, anyone tell me how do you find the private IP address? Launch command prompt, type ipconfig. So go to this start menu, 4 squares, just type cmd, command prompt will come, click on that, then type ipconfig in case of Windows. I have connected my laptop through the wireless LAN. So I have to check this adapter. The IPv4 address is 192.168.1.10. Okay. In case if someone else has connected to this same Wi-Fi router of Airtel, then their IP address will be 192.168.1.12, 1.13, 1.14. Either you can use ipconfig or ipconfig/all. ipconfig/all Wi-Fi network connection. Here, physical address means nothing but MAC address. IPv4 address is .10. Okay. Okay. Other details are there. DNS details, DHCP details. The DHCP server is 1.1. Then DNS server is also same 1.1. MAC address, media access control, MAC address is like physical address. Every machine, every device has the physical address. This is a command. Okay. If you want to find out the internal IP address in Linux box or Linux systems, how do you do that? Launch command prompt, but in Linux, we call it like a terminal, this black color icon, launch terminal, then type if config, enter. 192.168.23.220. This is Linux. Go to the Windows 7. Windows 7, what is the command again? ipconfig. 192.168.23.146, 23.220. First three groups are same. Last group is changing, which means that Kali Linux and Windows 7 are in the same subnet. Okay. ipconfig and ifconfig. These are the two commands which are used. All of you try to find out the internal IP address of your laptop and post it in the chat. If you have noticed the internal IP address, most of your systems has 192.168.x.x. So if you check into this picture, the internal IP address can be repetitive. In my lab setup, in my network, I can have 192.168.23.13. Some other person behind the router also internal IP address can be the same, but public IP address can't be the same because the internal IP address is used only behind the router. It is like this. The names can be same from one city to other city, name of the person. Okay. No, that's not the correct example. Normally assume like you want to send some, we'll come to it. Okay. Right now you just remember that public IP address is unique in the internet, in the world. Private IP address can be same. Private IP address is used for communication behind the router. Okay. Behind the router is used or public IP address is used from network to network. One network from one country to another network in other country. This is the significance of public IP address and private IP address. But however, there are some specific range to decide about public IP and private IP. Very, very important concept. You should definitely have good understanding of that concept if you are a ethical hacker or you are a desktop engineer or a network engineer. Now we understood the public IP address. Next question is, if I give you some domain, how do you find the IP address of that domain? For example, google.com is there. What is the IP address of google.com? How do you find the IP address of google.com? Anyone? There are some commands that you can use it in the command prompt. By using those commands, you should be able to figure out the IP address of those things. You can use ping command, ping space google.com will give you the IP address of the target. We are able to get the response, right? So based on the time taken, based on the response size, based on the time, and based on the IP address, based on the total number of packets sent and received, we can check if the target is reachable or not. Right now, we sent 4 packets and we received 4 packets. We can say that this specific IP address is up and running and its IP address is 142.250.207.174. Is this public IP address or private IP address? Anyone? This is public IP address. Try to find out the IP address of scanme.nmap.org by using ping. Can you guys try to find out the IP address of scanme.nmap.org? All of you, use ping command, get the IP address and post it in the chat. Anyone got the IP address of scanme.nmap.org? 2 minutes to go. Use the ping command. I guess most of you are able to get the result. Ping space scanme.nmap.org. What is IP address? 45.33.32.156. It is a public IP address. And how many groups are there in the IP address IPv4? Total number of groups in IPv4? 4 groups are there. Okay, good. You try to access google.com, you are able to access. You try to access scanme.nmap.org, you are able to access. Remember, all these websites are supported with some servers like app server, web server, and database server. Okay. But for us, we'll be seeing it like some scanme.nmap.org with IP address like the IP address of this server is 45.33.32.156 public IP address. There are some ranges of IP address you have to remember. You need to put some efforts to your memory. There are some classes. With the help of these classes, you should be able to identify whether it is a public or private. Class A, Class B, Class C, Class D, A, B, C, D, E. 5 classes are there in the IPv4. Remember, we are talking about IPv4 addresses. Now, as the IPv4 consists of 4 groups, assuming like first group starts with 0, second group, you should be able to get by adding, no, you should remember this 128 dot, we can represent x dot x dot x. Class C starts with add 64 to that 192.x.x.x. It is 001 or 000. Okay. Add 32 to that. It will become like 220.x.x.x. Class C starts with 64, 32, 16. Something went wrong. Hold on, guys. 64 you add, 32 you add, 32 if you add, it will become like 224. Am I correct? Yes. Then 16 you add, it will become like 240. This is the starting IP address of each class. 4 classes are there. Each class has some starting IP address. Now, What is the ending IP address of each class? The class B is starting with 128.0.0.0. Okay. What is the ending IP address of class B, class A? It will be like one IP address before this. What is the one IP address before that? 127 I can say. Shall I put 0 or 225? 255 or 0? Ending IP address 255. Next group 255, 255. So if I remember the first group in each and every class, I should be able to extract the range. And for this, what is the ending IP address of class B? Anyone? All of you post it in the chat. 191.255.255.255. Similarly, for class C is 223.255.255. This is a complete range of IPv4 address in different classes. Among this, we have public IP address and private IP address again. All this is correct. 191, 223, and 239. Yes, perfect. Okay. Remember, this total number of IP addresses is all the IPv4 address starts from 0 and it ends with 255.255.255. Total number of bits are 32. 4 groups are there. Total number of IP addresses you can get with IPv4 is 2 power 32, which is equivalent to 4.4 billion. 4.4 billion IP addresses are there in IPv4. So within these classes, we have public IP address and private IP address. You are able to find out public IP addresses and private IP addresses. By looking at the IP address, how do you tell like whether it is public or private? That we should remember some range. Class A internal IP range, private IP range is 10.x.x.x. Class B is 172.16.x.x to 172.31.x.x. This is for class B. For class C, internal IP range is 192.168.x.x. These are the internal IP ranges for class A, class B, and class C. We are able to figure out the internal IP address of your laptop, public IP address of your network, right? Now, if I tell you the IP address, you should be able to figure out whether it is public IP address or private IP address. For your laptop, whatever is the IP address you have got by using ipconfig, to which class does it belong to? In my case, it is class C. How about in your case, everyone? More number of concepts you are learning. So obviously we have to stretch little, try to put more efforts. We'll finish the networks by today. Technical concepts, we'll close it by 1 and we'll have a quiz for 15 minutes. Later, you guys, whoever has some questions, you guys can stay back. Rest of the members can leave at 1:15. Okay. Sorry, guys. Class C, right? Most of the cases. That's good. So 10 series, 172.16 series, 172 to 170.31 series, 192, 168 series are dedicated for internal IP range. internal IP address or private IP address, public IP address or external IP address. Though this 127.x.x.x is reserved, it comes under public. It is reserved for loopback. Loopback means sending the packets to the same system. Okay, 127 series. And most of the cases, there is a default loopback IP address as 127.0.0.1. This IP address loopback range is not used for public IP address. Remember, the loopback IP address is 127.0.0.1. This is going to come again in web applications, website hacking, network hacking. Most of the cases you refer this IP address, you need to remember this IP address 127.0.0.1. I'll give you some IP addresses. You have to tell me the class and whether it is public or private. Okay. First one. Is this, what is the class of this IP address? A, B, C, D, E.
Class group.
Everyone respond to the chat. The class is A because the first group is 10. 10 comes between 0 and 127 and this is a class A. Is it public or private? .x.x. Private range is the first group should be 10, so it is matching, then this is a private IP address. Private IP address is also called internal IP address. Next question. One more IP address. What is the class? The class is B. What is the reason? See the first group 143. 143 comes between 128 and 191. So this is class B. Now, is it internal or external? To figure out the internal or external, public or private, the internal IP range should start with 172 is the first group. This is not 172. So it is public IP address. Next one. What is the class? It is a class B. Public or private? One 172 is matching with the private IP. Okay. Next group is 16. Okay, 16 is also matching. X.X can be anything 0 to 255. So it is completely match of private IP address. It is a private IP address. Next one 172.20.32.132. What is the class? 172 is a class of C. Is this public or private? Public or private IP address? Most of you are saying private and few members are saying public. Let us see that. 172 first group mapped. Okay. Then second group is 20. Remember 172.16.x.x 2. 2 means there are some sequence of ranges till 172.31. First two groups, if you take 172.16, 172.17, .18, .19, 20, 21, 30, 31. All those things comes under private IP ranges. So 172.20 comes in the internal IP range. X.X means it will be 0 or it can be 2 till 255. Considering that this is private. Okay. One last and final. What is the class of what is its class and whether it is public or private? 230 comes under class A, B, C, D. That is okay. Public or private. In case of D and E, there is nothing like private IP address. We don't have private IP means 10 or 172 or 192. So this is public IP address. Normally class E is used for research purpose. Class D is used for broadcasting purpose. Okay. These are the different classes of IP addresses, and then loopback IP address, internal versus external IP address, the functionality of the router, public and private IP address, router communication. Okay, good. Okay, let me take one simple scenario here. From this laptop, I am trying to launch one website called hackerbook.in. This is a company. The person name is John. He works for Hackerbook company. Okay. And no, not here. John has a laptop. He works for Hackerbook, and this router is connected to the Hackerbook organization. And we have a lot of servers in our company. Not only these many people, there are many other people are there in this Hackerbook. So one server is DNS server. Okay, DNS server also there, one box, one system. Fine. Now, when I try to access hackerbook.in, how does hackerbook.in is located? Maybe in the cloud somewhere here, somewhere here. The servers are there in the cloud. Assume like that. Hackerbook.in I am trying to access, and this is a user. How does the communication happens? First thing is, whenever I launch any kind of website in my laptop by using the browser, the system has to get the IP address, public IP address of the domain, IP address of the domain. How do we get that? As a manually means you can ping and get it, but natural way, automated process, it makes use of one protocol called, remember, DNS protocol, DNS, domain name system. Okay. The default port number for DNS is 53. It stores DNS records. DNS records means I'll tell you with a good example. Right now, everyone has a mobile, right? In your mobile, there is an option of contacts. In contacts, every name is saved with some number, right? Every number is saved with some mobile name. Person's name is mapped to mobile number. When you are trying to dial some person, do you search with mobile number, or in general, do you search with a name? Name, or most of the cases, you remember the names. You don't remember the phone numbers. Am I correct? The contacts will store the records of name versus number. In general, name is mapped to the mobile number in your phones, right? The same thing here, DNS records stores domain to IP address mapping. Whenever you launch your system, whether your system or mobile or any device, whenever you launch a website, your system has to get the IP address of that domain. That domain to IP address mapping will be stored in DNS servers. Domain has one IP address. Hackerbook.in has the IP address of something like, for now, just assume like this. This is not the correct IP address. This is the IP address. So when I try to launch hackerbook.in, I don't know the IP address. The system doesn't know. Laptop one doesn't know the IP address. So first request, it will go for the DNS. Okay. DNS, the request will be sent. It will check whether the DNS has the IP. John is searching for the IP address of hackerbook.in in the DNS server. DNS server will have all the records. If it has the records, then the laptop will get the IP address. Then finally the request will go and hit the request from this laptop will go and hit the hackerbook.in. This is how the IP address is resolved by using DNS server. What is the functionality of DNS? Anyone? DNS resolves the IP address from the domain name, not conversion, basically mapping. Remember that name, mapping. Okay. That mapping will be there in the DNS server. This is the first case. But however, sometimes what will happen is you are trying to launch a website. You contacted the laptop, contacted the DNS server. Even DNS server doesn't have the details of hackerbook.in. Then it will go and contact DNS resolver. This is maintained by the ISPs. Each and every router at your home, like some combination of routers, will have a DNS resolver. It will check for that IP address from the DNS resolver. If it has it, it will get it. If it doesn't have it, again that request will go and hit one more DNS server that is called root DNS. In case if the root DNS has a record, that's fine. It will give to DNS resolver, and DNS resolver will give to the local DNS, and from local DNS it will come to the John's laptop. In case if even root DNS doesn't have the IP address of hackerbook.in, it will go and contact TLDs. These are also TLD stands for top level domains. So there will be some servers in the top level domains like .com servers and then .in. These are all top level TLDs, top level domains servers. .com, .in, .edu, any kind of extensions. .uk, .org, so many servers. So .com server will store all the records of domains that ends with .com, wipro.com, tcs.com, infosys.com. All these domains related records details will be stored in .com. Only details. The only details will be stored here, server details. But the mapping will be there in a different server called authoritative servers. Authoritative servers. Okay. Here we will have these records. DNS records are some of the examples are A record, AA record, then MX record, TXT record. Yeah, these are some of the examples of DNS records. A records means it will save the details of IPv4 to IP address, domain to IPv4. Scene and canonical This is like IPv6. IPv6 to domain name. Okay, good. Understood? Authoritative servers definitely will have the details of the DNS. So this will send to the TLD, not TLD root to DNS, DNS to DNS resolver to the DNS, and finally to the John system. So next time when I try to access, the IP address will be stored in the browser. Automatically, I'll contact hackerbook.in. Okay. This is local DNS server. There is one person called Smith here. Let me see how many of you can answer it correctly. John at 10:25 a.m. has launched hackerbook.in. Okay. And the request has been sent via DNS resolver, root DNS, and finally authoritative servers. So we got the response again through these servers. John's system has the IP address of hackerbook.in at 10:25. Smith from mobile 2 is trying to launch hackerbook.in at 10:40 a.m. So, and the condition is Smith the system doesn't have the IP address of hackerbook.in. To which all servers the Smith's system will request for the DNS. Till DNS server, till DNS resolver, till root DNS, or authoritative servers. This is called local DNS. How many servers? Local, resolver, or root? Many of you are saying local DNS. Okay. Anyone who says root DNS here? This local DNS server belongs to the organization. When this guy is trying to reach out to this website, local DNS got the details of hackerbook.in. It saves those records. When some other person tries to access same website, this will get the details from the local DNS. It will not go to the resolver or root DNS. Okay, the answer is local DNS. Now you guys understood the concept of DNS, all of you? Respond in the chat as yes, if all good. We'll have a quiz. Okay, we are going to test how much you guys are able to understand these concepts from 10 o'clock onwards. Whatever the concepts you are learning, we'll have a quiz at 1:15, 1:10 or 1:15. Okay, fine, that's good. Most of you are clear. Okay, fine. Let me take one more scenario now. Laptop 1, John is there. His internal IP address is 121.23.12.141. Okay, but sorry, 192.168.23.41. Mobile 1 is 192.168.23.15. Mobile 2 is 23.30. Public, and then one more laptop, mobile 3 here is 23.12. Now, I'm going to get one more laptop. Laptop 12 here. Laptop 12. Okay. This is just a laptop. I didn't connect to the internet. So when I don't connect it to the internet, it will not have the IP address. The moment I connect to the router with a cable, cable normally Cat6 is used, internet cable. The laptop is getting connected. So it has to get one IP address. Am I correct? The question is, who allocates IP address to this laptop? Who allocates the IP address to this laptop? Remember, each and every router will have one server, service or server, DHCP. Dynamic Host Configuration Protocol service is responsible for dynamic allocation of IP address its port numbers are 67 and 68. 67 is used by the server and 68 is used by the client. Client is nothing but laptop 12. How does this IP allocation happens is with the help of DORA. DORA process. DORA. This is the process that is followed whenever the IP address has to be allocated. D stands for discover. So laptop 2, when you connect to the internet, it will say like, I need one IP address. Can anyone give me one IP address? So broadcasting request, it will be sending to all the systems. It will send to this DHCP. It will send to this laptop 1. It will send to the printer. It will send to this mobile 1, mobile 2, mobile 3. To everyone, it will keep on sending. I need one IP address. Can anyone give me the IP address? That is called discover request. Okay. Among all these devices, only DHCP server can offer a IP address. So O stands for offer. O stands for offer. Then R stands for request. Request means, okay, you are sending a request that you need one IP address. DHCP server said like, I have one IP address. Is it fine for you? I'm trying to offer. Still offering, still not allocated. Just offer. Then the laptop 12 says, if it is okay with that, it will send a request for that IP address. And finally, allocation is done with the help of this acknowledgement. Acknowledgement. ACK. Request, discover, offer, request, and acknowledgement. DORA. Very simple shortcut. So the DHCP server is used for allocation of IP address in dynamic process. And finally, the laptop 2 has got the IP addresses of 192.168.23. Maybe like some other IP address 155. Okay. This is the job of DHCP, Dynamic Host Configuration Protocol. How the allocation is done. Very, very important concept. In all the interviews, they will ask you like, how does the DNS works? How does the DHCP works? Or they will ask you in a different manner, saying like, uh, the user is trying to launch a website. Tell me the background process, what will happen? Anyone? The user is trying to launch a website called abcbank.com. Tell me the background process. Then you need to tell like, the request will go to the local DNS server. From there, the request will go to the recursive DNS resolver and then root DNS and TLD and then authoritative servers. Once the IP address is resolved, then the request will go and hit the website. That is the answer. Okay, great. Okay, 12:50 now. Now let us talk about the communication models. 10 minutes. Okay. That concept, in general, I'll take it for 1 hour, but here we'll try to finish in 15 minutes. Post that, I think we can go for a quiz. Let me see what all concepts we have covered so far. Static and dynamic allocation is done with the help of DHCP. Static means no change. You can set up the static IP address by some configurations. Then private and public IP address is covered, ports, protocols, IP address, devices. IPv6 we need to tell, I'll tell you that. Then later we'll move on to these two concepts, okay? IPv6. IPv4, how many groups are there? IPv4. IPv4 consists of 4 groups and total number of bits are 32. Whereas in IPv6, we have 8 groups and each group is separated with a colon. I'll give you one example of IPv6 here, okay? And it is represented in hexadecimal. 12 AD colon 1122 colon 4567 colon 1234 colon 1234 colon 1234 colon EAED. Okay. 0 to 9, then A, B, C, D. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. One more group will add it. This is the example of IPv6. It consists of 8 groups and each group is separated with a colon. Whenever there are sequence of colon, you can change that with sequence of, whenever there are sequence of zeros, you can replace that with sequence of colon. It means that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Here, you see that sequence of colon. There are 3 groups of zeros are there. This is also correct. Both are IPv6. Can anyone tell me, is this valid IPv6 address or not? Valid or invalid? There is a sequence of colon, which means that there are groups of zeros. This is a valid one. How many groups are there with zeros? There are 6 groups with zeros. This is also valid IPv6 address. Can anyone tell me if this is a valid IPv6 address? Still, I'm changing it. Hold on. Tell me whether this is a valid IPv6 or not. This is invalid IPv6 because the sequence of colons are used twice. I don't know how many groups of zeros I have to keep it on the left hand side or on the right hand side. That's the reason this is invalid IPv6 address. Okay, this is the concept of IPv6. Some of you have got this IPv6 along with the IPv4 in your laptops or mobiles. Okay, great. Due to the time constraints, I'll directly move to the PPT. Concept, I'll make it very clear. Whenever a computer communicates with another computer in the internet, okay, when a system communicates with the other system in the internet, the communication will happen through different layers. Okay, right now you guys are able to communicate with the other person who is in other country. Okay, like you are able to send a message to your friend in US or to your friend in UK within seconds. But before, around like 30-35 years back, when there was no internet, the communication is very difficult. You can send a message to a person in India. The person in India can communicate to the person in India. The person in Russia can communicate with the person in Russia. But the person in India cannot communicate with the person in US. Okay, let me get a screenshot. The reason is each and every country is following their own communication model. They don't have. Okay. The person in India can communicate only within India. The person in China can communicate only within China. The person in Russia can communicate within Russia. Because Every country is following their own standard for communication. Later, all these countries, they decided to come up with one common standard that is called OSI reference model, and that standard is ISO standard, International Standard Organization. They came up with one model called OSI reference model. Okay, here OSI talks about different layers where each layer has to do some kind of task. These are the four layers. Sorry, 7 layers of OSI reference model. Similarly, there is one more model called TCP/IP model. Here we have 4 layers. If you see these 4 layers, sorry, 7 layers of OSI. OSI has been developed by the ISO, and this has become like a reference model. But in reality, we are using TCP/IP model, which has 4 layers. We'll try to cover what is the functionality of each and every layer. These are the layers: application, presentation, session, transport, network, data link layer, and physical layer. Okay. Let me pull out one small chart. I'll tell you the functionality of each and every layer. Try to remember, very easy. The first one is application. Application means it provides services to the applications. You are using your mail. You are trying to launch website. You are using FTP site. All these services are supported by the application layer. It is like this. You are trying to construct a house. Painter will do a painter job. Then electrician will do the electrician job. The tiles person will do the tiles person. So to get the final objective, every department has one functionality. Same thing here. Whenever you want to send some message or you want to launch a website, this functionality is distributed across different layers. So you need to know what each layer is doing. Application layer provides services to the applications. Presentation. You are trying to present something like that. So it is responsible for data conversion. Is it possible for you to view the zip files without unzipping? There is a zip file, compressed file. You cannot see that without decompression, right? That compression, decompression is done is in the presentation layer. Compression, extraction, then encryption, encoding, data conversion happens in the presentation layer. Session layer. You log into the session, connect the session, terminate the session, maintain the session. That is done with the help of session. The next one is transport. Transportation layer. The name itself will tell we are trying to transport something from one location to other location. I am trying to send one courier from Bangalore to Hyderabad. I am trying to transport from Bangalore to Hyderabad. So basically, transportation layer is responsible for end-to-end communication and error control mechanism. Network layer. Network layer means logical routing. You see there are a lot of routers, right? The routers will take care of this logical routing. So which path to choose? I can go to Hyderabad by road. Okay. I can go by flight. I can go by train, or I make use of my car. I go to some other places in between the highway and reach Hyderabad. There are different ways how your packets can travel. Depending on the protocol, the packets will choose some path. Okay. So basically, the logical path is decided by the network layer. Data link layer, physical layer. Once the data reaches your network router, then which path has to be taken? You see this picture. Once the data is received to the router, then the private IP address, which is mapped to the MAC address. MAC address means physical address. So physical routing is done with the help of data link layer. Data link layer, physical routing. And finally, physical layer. Physical layer is nothing but the medium in between the sender and receiver. Sender is here Geo, John, and receiver is Rose. So what is there in the medium? Cable, connection, wireless medium, then repeaters, all hubs, all those comes under medium. Okay. These are the 7 layers, and each and every layer has got its own importance. And we have got the functionality of each and every layer. Let us see the protocols and data format in these layers. All 7 in OSI is converted into the 4 in TCP/IP, which is the present reality. This is the realistic one where everyone are using now TCP/IP. First 3 are clubbed into the application. Transportation layer is same as transport. Network layer, we call it like internet access, internet layer. The last 2 are clubbed and it is called network access layer. Yeah, ATIN and APST NDP. That is a shortcut. The functionality remains same. The data format application is data. Transportation layer is segments. TCP segments and UDP datagrams. Internet layer is packets and network access. The final medium of communication is bits, zeros and ones. Let us see the protocols now. Application layer. What are the different protocols that are there in each and every layer? Applications, you see that HTTP websites, FTP servers, SMTP emails, SMTP for resource management. All these applications requires the support from application layer, right? Whatever is the functionality you do, those protocols are driven by any of these layers. Similarly, transportation layer, we have TCP and UDP. Then internet layer, we have IP, IPsec. Remember, IP protocol ping doesn't use any port number. It uses some small value in the header to check if the target is reachable or not. So ping doesn't use, ICMP doesn't use any port number. This is all about the OSI and TCP IP. How many layers are there in OSI? There are 7 layers in OSI. How many layers are there in TCP IP? 4 layers in TCP IP. What is the functionality of application layer? Provides services to the applications. Presentation layer, 10 seconds for each question. Presentation layer, data conversion, data encryption, data encoding, session for session management. Very important. Transportation layer, transport between one system and another system, end-to-end communication. Remember as end-to-end communication. Network layer, logical routing. Data link layer, physical routing. Physical layer is for medium. Okay, that's how you need to remember. Okay, that's great. If you talk about transportation layer, there are 2 protocols in transportation layer. Those are TCP and UDP. Let us understand how TCP and UDP are working. Okay. TCP works with 3-way TCP/IP handshake. Every TCP communication starts with sync request. Say for example, one computer wants to communicate with other computer. 2 systems are here, system A and system B, or host A and host B. Host A is here and host B is here. Host A and host B. So if it is a TCP communication, Host A first sends a sync request. Host A sends a sync request to host B. Then host B will reply with sync plus acknowledgement. Finally, host A will send the acknowledgement packet. So any kind of TCP communication happens with these three steps: sync, sync plus acknowledgement, and acknowledgement. So it is like this: host A, I want to talk to you. Is it fine for you? Host B will say with acknowledgement, yes, I am good. I am ready to communicate. And also it will send, can I communicate with you? Host A says, yes, you can also communicate with me. Just I'm telling you in layman terms, but the three-way TCP IP handshake always goes with sync, synact, and acknowledgement. Every website you launch, this kind of communication happens. If you want to check that, you can install Wireshark tool in your laptop. Wireshark is a tool name which can be used for packet capturing and monitoring. But in my case, directly I'll try to launch it. For example, go to the applications, search for Wireshark. Wireshark is packet monitoring and capturing device. Wireshark tool. I'll show you how to do that. Maybe you guys can install Wireshark in your laptop and do it later. Due to time constraints, I'll just show it from my end. I'll try to capture this interface ETH0 by double clicking on that. Okay. Now I want to see three-way TCP/IP handshake. Go launch the browser. Here is the Firefox. Firefox has been launched. I'll try to access some website now. Maybe like any website you can access. I'm trying to access demo.testfire.net. Okay. Enter. I'm able to access the website. Now go to the Wireshark. Stop capturing the packets by clicking on this red color button. Okay. So we have to see the sync, synact, and acknowledgement. But the thing is, there are a lot of packets. How do I know? How do I see the source and destination? We'll try to filter with the IP addresses. IP.address is equal to Kali Linux IP address. First, we'll check if config 220 is Kali Linux IP address. So I'm trying to filter with 220. And also I try to filter with IP address of the demo.testfire.net. Demo.testfire.net IP address is how much? I think, is it 34? Yeah. We have to do a ping. Let us do that. Ping space demo.testfire.net. Copy this IP address, Control C. I'm trying to filter the packets based on these IP addresses because I want to see the three-way TCP/IP handshake. First request from Kali Linux IP address 220 to 65.61.137.117. You can see the port number 58078 to port number 80. Can anyone tell me why the request is going to the port number 80? Anyone? We have captured the packets with the help of Wireshark tool. And if you see the packet information of each and every packet, the request has gone to the port number 80 because demo.testfire.net is a HTTP website. Yes, most of you are correct. There's a reason source port number is something and destination is 80, and you can see the sync request. Source IP address, destination IP address, protocol, length of the packet, and information of the packet. Do you have the relevant synact here? The next request again from the server to the Kali Linux. Kali Linux IP address is shown here, destination 220. 80288078, and you can see the packet information, SYNACT, SYNCOM acknowledgement, and final acknowledgement here. Okay, so any kind of TCP communication always starts with three-way TCP/IP handshake. That's what we are able to identify with the help of Wireshark tool. There are few more commands are there with Wireshark, but this is how you can filter the data. Okay, great. All of you try to answer in the chat. What is three-way TCP/IP handshake? What are the steps that are involved in three-way TCP/IP handshake? Sync, SYNACT, and acknowledgement. Okay, perfect. We have covered about TCP. Okay, UDP not covered. Another 3 minutes we'll do this. TCP is based on the acknowledgement. Do you see this? In case of TCP communication, you send a sync packet, you have to get acknowledgement. Again, you send a sync packet, you have to get the acknowledgement. Okay. Whereas in case of UDP, user datagram protocol, no acknowledgement. You send a packet, let the receiver take it or accept, it doesn't matter. No acknowledgement, faster, not reliable, because when you send a packet, we don't know whether that receiver has got it or not. No connection here, connectionless. That's how the UDP works. Simple example of TCP is HTTP websites, SMTP. So examples of UDP is live streaming, radio channels, broadcasting. All this broadcasting will go for UDP, because when you are doing live streaming, you want it to be faster. Am I correct? The communication should be fast. You don't want it to be slow. And voice over IP also. WhatsApp over voice calls. Your friend is talking something in WhatsApp voice. Suddenly you lost, your signal is weak. You are not able to hear his words. After 5 minutes, again, do you hear their words, past words? No, right? Whatever the information is lost, it is lost. That is a UDP. So if you want the confirmed communication, reliable communication, guaranteed communication, go for TCP. If you want faster communication, if you don't require acknowledgement, you go for UDP. That is the main difference between TCP and UDP. Okay, you can see it here. Transmission control protocol and user datagram protocol. Connection oriented and no connection. Makes checks for errors and reporting. TCP. Error reporting and error controlling is also there. No reporting UDP. Why no reporting? Because no acknowledgement. Slower, faster, 20 bytes, 8 bytes, acknowledgement based, no acknowledgement. And example of TCP is emails, websites, and UDP is voice over IP. Okay. Okay, guys. One or two concepts, maybe like which we have missed in the networks, I'll try to cover tomorrow. Why connectionless? We are not trying to establish the connection with the receiver. This UDP is like one sender and multiple receivers. The way the communication happens is it just keeps on sending the packets. It doesn't check whether that other person has received the data or not. If you are interested, you accept the data. If you are not interested, ignore the data. That's how the UDP works. Okay, fine. Recording will post it in the YouTube, or will give you the shared drive by 3 o'clock or 4 o'clock. Shall we start a quiz? Don't log out. Quiz is very important. You guys go through these concepts for 2 minutes. You have to do the quiz in two ways. One is you have to reply in the chat. Other one is you have to submit in the form. You will get that report instantaneously, the quiz report. And tomorrow we will try to cover desktop sessions. Operating system, Windows and Linux, very, very important. With these two only, you will be able to crack the job, not just networks alone. Go through this screen for 2 or 3 minutes. Meantime, I'll send you the link for the quiz. Okay. No, just be. I mean to say, don't copy the answers. Okay, be yourself. Try to do the self evaluation by yourself. Public IP address is used to communicate different networks. Yes, correct. Private IP address is used to communicate within the different devices in the network, within the same network. That is correct. Public IP address is used to communicate multiple networks, network to network, public IP address. Private IP address means within the network. Within the network, multiple devices, private IP address. Let me check for the quiz. Don't copy the answers from other people, okay? Network engineer. We'll go one after another. I'll explain you the questions. Parallelly, you guys can respond in the chat. Can respond in the chat and you can fill it in the form also. No issues. I have sent you the form. Now you guys want, you have to respond both in the chat and in the form. Okay. I'll answer it individual questions one after another. But once you have selected one option in the form, don't change it. Okay. Because I want to check your understanding. Guys, I'll answer your questions after the quiz. Don't start the quiz right now. I'll tell you the time. Okay. Once I say yes, you guys can start the quiz. I'll walk through the question and answers. Okay. When you click on the form, it will show like this quiz. Okay, fine. I need to sign in. Okay, fine. No issues. Mm, what I'm saying is, I'll walk through the questions. You have to select these options. The moment you finish first question, again, don't change it by looking at the answers. Okay? Yeah. You may have to select this option because we want to know who you are submitting these things. Select this, give your name, your mobile number. Later, depending on the question and answer, whatever is the correct answer, you need to select one after another as and then I give you a walkthrough and finally submit it. Once you submit, you'll get the score immediately. You need to click on view score. Okay, we'll walk through the questions now. First question. What are the devices present in the IT ecosystem? First, fill up the form. First form and then answer in the chat. Don't change in the form again once you submit, once you have selected the option. Printers, cameras, routers, switches, firewall, IDS, IPS, all of the above. Another 10 seconds to answer. We want to see how much you guys score. Okay. The answer is all of the above. Very clear, right? We had seen the IT ecosystem. It consists of routers, switches, firewalls, printers, cameras, employee laptops. Everything will be there. Second question. Find the loopback IP address from this list. 10 seconds to answer this. Respond in the chat. Select the option in your form. First, update the form and then respond in the chat. Very simple. Loopback IP address is 127.0.0.1 and the option is C. What is the device that is used to connect multiple devices within the same local network? This is a little tricky, but see if you can answer. I haven't, yeah. See, there are multiple devices. Maybe I think I haven't covered this topic, the functionality, but still you guys should be able to answer this. When you want to connect from network to network, we depend on the router. When we want to connect the computers within the same network, we depend on the switch. C is the correct answer. Just remember this. From Hyderabad to Bangalore, Hyderabad to Chennai, I want to connect, so routers are used. And if I want to connect only within the same network, all the systems, okay, I select switch. What is the use of IP address? Identify a device in a network, uniquely identify a user in a country to provide services for secure communication. Use of IP address, we have confirmed that we just discussed. You can uniquely identify a device in a network. Option A. What is the use of ping command? Most of the cases in our real time, normally we use it to check the connectivity or reachable. But along with that, even we can check the network performance and latency also. Answer is all of the above. Is this internal or external? Internal, private or public? Internal means private, external means public. This is 145, no, first group. So it is not starting with 10, it is not starting with 172, it is not starting with 192, right? So not internal, it means external. Option B is the correct one. Which of the following is IPv6? A, B, C, D. IPv4 consists of four groups, right? A is V4, B is V4, C we don't know, D is V4. Only option left is C. And of course, IPv6 consists of 8 groups, but here 6 groups are replaced with sequence of colon. Option C is the correct one. What is the default port number for HTTP? 10 seconds to go. Answer is 80, very easy one. HTTPS, HTTPS 443. SMTP, 25. Okay. DHCP, 67 and 68, right? Dynamic host configuration protocol, 67 and 68. What is the use of DNS? Convert domain to IP address, provide IP address, send files, secure the network. Answer is option A. Convert, not convert, basically no, resolving domain to IP address. What is the command that we can use it to get the IP address in Windows operating system? Windows, it is option D, ipconfig. Linux, what is the command we use in Linux to get the IP address? Respond in the chat. That is the extra question. In Linux, we use ifconfig, Windows ipconfig. Which protocol is used for email communication? A, B, C, D. SMTP for email, Simple Mail Transfer Protocol. What is the default port number for LDAP? 3389 389 88636. The default port number for LDAP is 389. Very easy to remember. RDP 3389. LDAP is 389. How many layers are present in OSI reference model? We are almost done, just 5 minutes to go. Later, if anyone has any questions, you guys can stay back. Rest of you can log off, okay? Under 5 minutes. I know it is a very long session. 10 o'clock means 11, 12, 1, 1:30, 3.5 hours. Tomorrow's session is just 1.5 hour. The answer is 7. Option C. Which of the following automatically allocates IP addresses to the endpoints on the request? IP allocation. Database server, mail server, DHCP, web server. Very easy one. It is DHCP, dynamic allocation of IP address. What is the tool that is used for network monitoring and capturing the packets? Wireshark, Ping, Burpsuit, all of the above. Wireshark is used for packet capturing. Ping is used to check if the target is reachable or not. Burpsuit is a web interceptor. So the correct answer is Wireshark. Burpsuit will come for web application hacking. What is the main purpose of transportation layer? Provide services to the application, resolve domain to IP, allocate IP address, end-to-end communication. Option D. Provide services applications means application layer. Resolving domain to IP address means DNS. Allocation of IP address is DHCP. End-to-end communication is transportation. On which layer does a router works? Network layer, transport layer, data link layer, physical layer. In general, router works in routing. The responsible of network layer is logical routing. So network layer, the router works in network layer. Switch works in network or data link layer or physical layer. So usually it works in data link layer. Switch. MAC address. Okay, we are done with all the questions, right? 20 questions. Submit the form, everyone. Submit the form, you'll get a score and post your score in the chat. All of you. 17, 19, 19, 20, 16. 1919. Okay, that's good. Why number one score? Is it okay? Go ahead. Most of you have scored 17 and above. That's really good. In fact, if you are able to score 15 and above, we can place you in 20 days. Don't expect a higher package, but we can make you a software engineer with that score. Let me see how is the scores. This is networks, right? Network engineer quiz. Okay. Everyone submitted. Only 70 members. How about others? Still not submitted. You guys need to participate in the quiz. Okay. Network engineer quiz, 73 members. Okay. Responses 20, 20, 20. 15, 15, 20, 20, 20. Okay. That's good. Many of you have scored even the 20 score. That's really great. Questions, individuals. Okay, individual scores also we have it. In fact, even if you you'll get a chance to see those individual scores also. For example, I'll mention my name like Hari and mobile number something. What are the devices that are present in the IT network? Option D. Find the loopback IP address 127.0.0.1, which is used to connect multiple devices on the same network. Switch. What is the use of IP address? Uniquely identify a device. What is the use of ping command? All of the above. External or internal? This is external. Which of the following is IPv6? Option C. What is the default port number? Port number 80. HTTPS 443. Then SMTP 25. Default port number for DHCP is 67. DNS, conversion of domain to IP. Command to find IP address is ipconfig. Email communication, SMTP. LDAP 389. Total number of layers 7. Then automatic allocation of IP addresses is DHCP. Wireshark. Transportation layer, end-to-end communication, network layer. Submit. Once you submit, your response has been recorded. You can view the score. So like this, you will get total points 20 out of 20 and individual scores. If something is wrong, you'll get that. Well, okay, fine, guys. Okay, now I give you the time for your question and answers. That's what I'm saying. With these concepts also, you'll get a job. Only thing is, you guys are not aware. We will be able to help you. You can reach out to our support staff. They will guide you for the job. Of course, job guidance is free of cost. Okay, but placement charges are applicable. Let me give you access to the mic. Any questions, anyone? Or you want to ask tomorrow? I have given mic access. If you have any questions, you guys can ask me.
హలో సార్
Yeah, go ahead.
సార్ నేను షాక్ ఇన్వెస్ట్మెంట్ ట్రైనింగ్ తీసుకున్నాను సార్ కానీ కాల్స్ ఏమీ రావట్లేదు సార్
SOC analyst, what is the experience you have put?
ఫ్రెషర్ సార్
Yeah, I know that. Okay, you are trying the SOC analyst job as a fresher, right?
ఎస్ సార్
Okay, 1 second.
మీకు రెజ్యూమ్ షేర్ చేసాను సార్ ఒకసారి చూడండి సార్ మోడిఫికేషన్స్ ఏమైనా ఉంటే చెప్పండి
Send
సార్
to this number, okay? WhatsApp. I want you to send to these numbers. In case if you are looking for the job and you need any help from us, these numbers 854 999 5000, 854 999 2000. These two numbers. Send your resume to this 854 999 2000, 854 999 5000. Okay.
Okay, sir.
Send to the resume, they will call you back today or maybe like evening we'll ask you. You guys can take rest. From 4 o'clock,
Okay.
4 to 6, we'll call you back. You guys can share the resume if you are looking for the job.
I even also, sir,